Tomorrow at 7:27 p.m., the moon goes completely dark in Aquarius, and I need you to understand something. This isn't just a new moon. This is a cosmic delete button being pressed on your womb's entire operating system. Every pattern you've been running, every program you inherited from your mother, your grandmother, the entire matriarchal line. Tomorrow, it all goes offline, and in that darkness, in that void, you get to reprogram from zero. If you've been feeling this strange emptiness over the past few days, like your womb is a blank screen waiting for new code, stay with me on this one. There's a very specific reason that's happening, and I'm going to break down the entire rebirth protocol later in this video. But first, there's something I think you need to understand about what deletion actually means, because this isn't gentle, this isn't gradual, and the way this new moon is configured, with Venus still in Pisces and Neptune in Aries, I genuinely believe your womb is being prepared for a complete system reboot. Most women won't survive this consciously. They'll let the old programs reinstall automatically. Same patterns, same wounds, same version of themselves they've been running for decades. But if you're here, if you're feeling the call to actually use this reset, you're about to access something most women never find, the ability to choose who you become instead of inheriting who you were told to be. Your womb has been running corrupted files and you didn't even know it. So here's the thing most women don't realize, and honestly, this was a massive realization for me when I started understanding how the womb actually stores programming. Your womb isn't just a physical organ, it's a hard drive. It's been recording every message, every wound, every belief about what it means to be a woman since before you were born. In the womb yourself, you were already downloading your mother's fear, her shame, her relationship to her own body. And then you were born into a system that kept installing updates, the culture, the religion, the men who touched you, the women who judged you. Every experience wrote code into your womb's operating system. Good girls don't want sex. Your value is your youth. Pleasure is selfish. Your womb exists to serve others. Line after line of corrupted programming running in the background, controlling how you move through the world without you even realizing it. Have you noticed how you sometimes react to things and then think, why did I do that? That's not even who I am? That's old code executing. That's a program your womb is running automatically because it's been there so long, you think it's you, but it's not. It's inheritance, it's conditioning. And tomorrow, the new moon in Aquarius is offering you something radical, the chance to wipe the drive clean. Aquarius is technology, it's the future, it's the sign that says, what if we could start from scratch? What if we could design a completely new system? And when the moon goes dark in this sign, in your womb's programming center, it creates what I'd call a safe mode reboot. Everything goes offline. The old patterns can't run because there's no light, no energy feeding them. And in that darkness, in that void, you have a window, a narrow window to decide what gets reinstalled and what gets permanently deleted. The rebirth protocol, how deletion actually works. Okay, so let me explain how this actually works, because if you don't understand the mechanism, you might waste this entire transit. A new moon is always a beginning, right? But an Aquarius new moon is different. It's not organic growth. It's not plant a seed and watch it slowly emerge. It's digital. It's instantaneous. It's download complete. System online. New version running. But here's the critical part. Before you can install new programming, you have to consciously delete the old. And deletion in the womb doesn't happen through affirmations or visualizations. It happens through what I'd call energetic uninstalling. You have to identify the specific programs running, acknowledge where they came from, and then make a conscious choice to terminate them. Here's an example. Maybe you have a program that says, I need to be chosen by a man to have value. That's not you. That's code, probably installed by your father's conditional love or the culture's obsession with male validation. To delete it, you don't fight it. You don't try to convince yourself you're valuable. You simply say, that's a program, it's running in my system, and I'm choosing to uninstall it now. And then, and this is crucial, you create space. You don't immediately replace it with a new belief. You let your womb sit in the void, in the not knowing, in the emptiness where the old program used to be. That emptiness is the new moon. That's the dark moon phase, and most women panic in that space. They rush to fill it with something, anything, because the void feels like death. But the void isn't death. It's the space between versions. It's the moment when you're no longer who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. And if you can sit in that, if you can let your womb be empty and quiet and unprogrammed for even a few hours, something extraordinary happens. The new code writes itself, not from your mind, not from your ego, from your womb's original blueprint, from the version of you that existed before all the corrupted files were installed. Does that make sense? Tomorrow at 7:27 p.m., your womb goes into that void state automatically. The question is, will you use it consciously or let the old programs reinstall by default? Aquarius, you're being reformatted as the future template, and it's going to isolate you. If you're an Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising, I need you to understand something. This new moon isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. You're not just receiving the rebirth protocol, you're becoming it. You're the beta test for the new feminine operating system. This new moon is in your first house, the house of identity and self. And with the moon completely dark at 23 degrees Aquarius, I genuinely believe you're being wiped clean. Every version of yourself you've performed, every identity you've tried on to fit in, every way you've made yourself smaller or more palatable, it's all being deleted. And here's what that feels like. It feels like isolation, like suddenly you don't recognize yourself in any of the old containers. The friend groups feel foreign, the relationship dynamics feel outdated. Even looking in the mirror, you might see someone you don't quite know yet. And that's not a problem. That's the protocol working. You're supposed to feel like a stranger to yourself right now, because the you that's emerging, the post-reset version, she doesn't have a reference point yet. She's never existed before. She's the future feminine, and the future by definition doesn't fit into the present's categories. Here's what I'm seeing specifically for you. Between tomorrow and the next new moon in Pisces on March 14th, you're going to feel this pull to detach from everything that's been defining you. Maybe you stop responding to people who only knew the old version. Maybe you delete social media. Maybe you literally change your appearance in some radical way because the old aesthetic doesn't match the new frequency. And people are going to be confused. They're going to ask what's wrong. They're going to want the old you back. But the old you was a program, and programs don't have feelings about being deleted. The danger for you, Aquarius, is trying to explain yourself, trying to make this rebirth make sense to people who are still running their original programming. You can't. The future doesn't translate into the past's language. So you're going to have to be okay with being misunderstood, with being alone, with being the only one in the room who can see what's coming. That's always been your assignment. But after this new moon, the isolation might feel more intense than ever because you're not just thinking differently, you're operating on a completely different system. And here's what I want you to know. That isolation is temporary. Once you stabilize in your new programming, once you fully embody the rebirth, you're going to attract others who are running similar code. People who don't need you to explain, people who recognize you instantly because they're also from the future. But right now, in the deletion phase, you have to be willing to stand alone, to be the prototype, to let everyone else think you've lost it while you're actually finding yourself for the first time. Gemini, your womb's creative output gets a complete upgrade, but you have to delete the audience first. Now, Gemini, sun, moon, or rising, your experience of this new moon is fascinating because it's hitting your 9th house, the house of expansion, higher learning, publishing, and meaning-making. And when a new moon in Aquarius lands here, especially while Venus is in Pisces activating your career sector, I believe your womb's creative channel is being completely reformatted. Here's what I think has been happening for you. You've probably been creating, writing, speaking, making things for years, but there's been this underlying anxiety, right? This sense that you need to perform your creativity in a certain way to be accepted, to get the views, to get the validation, to prove you're smart enough, interesting enough, valuable enough. That anxiety, that need for external approval, that's corrupted code, and it's been limiting what your womb can actually birth into the world. Tomorrow's new moon is offering you a deletion of the audience. And I know that sounds terrifying, but stay with me. when you delete the audience from your creative process, when you stop asking, will they like this? Will this get engagement? Will this make me look good? Something radical happens. Your womb stops producing for consumption and starts channeling for truth. The work that comes through isn't designed to please, it's designed to transform. And transformation isn't always pleasant. The ninth house also rules belief systems and philosophy. So I'm seeing a situation where you're going to question everything you thought you knew about creativity, about intelligence, about what it means to contribute something meaningful to the world. Maybe you've been running a program that says, I need to be the smartest person in the room, or my value is my ability to communicate complex ideas. Those are programs, and they might have served you at one point, but they're also limiting you, because when your worth is tied to performance, your womb can't create freely. It's always editing, always performing, always censoring what wants to come through. Between tomorrow and mid-March, I think you're going to feel this push to create something you've never created before, something that doesn't fit into your established brand or identity, something that might alienate your current audience, and you're going to have to choose. Do you play it safe and keep running the old program, or do you delete the need for approval and let your womb channel whatever wants to be born, regardless of how it's received? Here's my advice for you, Gemini. Tomorrow night, during the new moon, make a list of every belief you have about your creative work. It needs to be smart. It needs to be polished. It needs to prove something. And then ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Is it yours, or is it programming? And then, this is the key. Give yourself permission to create something ugly, something raw, something that has no audience in mind at all, because that's when your womb's true genius comes through, not when you're performing intelligence, when you're channeling truth. Libra, the relationship template gets deleted and you finally become the whole equation. Okay, Libra, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is hitting your fifth house, the house of romance, creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. And I need to be really direct with you about what's being deleted here. It's the program that says you need a relationship to be complete, that you need someone else's desire to validate your desirability, that your womb only has value when it's chosen by another. Here's what I think you've been running, maybe your whole life, a program that says I am half of a whole. That partnership is your identity. That being in relationship is more valuable than being alone. And listen, I'm not saying partnership is bad. I'm saying the program that makes your worth dependent on it, that's corrupted code, and it's been running your life without your permission. You know those moments when you're single and you feel like something's missing, like you're not quite a full person until someone chooses you? That's the program. Or when you're in a relationship and you start shape-shifting to keep the peace, abandoning your own desires to maintain harmony, that's the program too. And tomorrow's new moon in your fifth house, the house of your own creative and romantic sovereignty, is offering to delete it permanently. But here's what that deletion feels like, and I want you to be prepared. It might feel like you suddenly don't care about being in a relationship, like the whole concept of romance feels foreign or uninteresting. You might look at couples and think, why would I want that? Why would I give up my autonomy for that? And if you're in a relationship, you might feel this pull to create more space, more independence, to reclaim parts of yourself you've merged away. That's not you becoming cold or unloving. That's the program being uninstalled. And in that space, in that void where the relationship template used to be, you have an opportunity. You can sit with the question, who am I when I'm not defined by who loves me? What do I actually want? Not what do I want to make myself more lovable. Those are revolutionary questions for Libra, because your entire identity has been built on the program of partnership. The fifth house also rules creativity and pleasure, and I'm seeing situations where you're going to discover desires you didn't know you had because they were buried under the relationship programming. Maybe you want to create art that's just for you. Maybe you want to explore pleasure in ways that have nothing to do with performing for a partner. Maybe you want to fall in love with yourself first and see if anyone else can match that frequency. Between tomorrow and mid-March, you're being asked to become the whole equation, not the half looking for another half, the complete circuit. And then, Only then can you enter partnership from wholeness instead of need, from choice instead of programming, from your womb's actual desire instead of the inherited belief that you're not enough alone. That's the rebirth. That's the new code. And honestly, it's going to change everything about how you relate to others, because you'll finally be relating from self instead of from deficit, the 48-hour deletion window and what not to do. So let's talk about the actual timeline, because there's a specific window when this deletion is most powerful, and if you miss it, the old programs might reinstall automatically. The new moon is exact tomorrow at 7:27 p.m. Eastern, but the deletion window actually opens 24 hours before and closes 24 hours after, so you're in it right now as you're watching this. Here's what I need you to not do during this window. Do not make big relationship decisions. Do not start new projects. Do not commit to anything that requires you to know who you are, because right now you don't. You're in the void, you're between versions, and making decisions from the void usually means you're acting from old programming, trying to reassert itself. What you should do is create space, literal physical space if possible. Cancel plans, turn off your phone, take a bath, sit in silence. Let your womb be empty, and in that emptiness, pay attention to what arises naturally, not what you think should arise, what actually comes through when you're not performing, not fixing, not doing. Tomorrow night at 7:27 p.m., I'd suggest this. Put your hands on your womb and ask it directly, what programming are you ready to delete? You might get words, you might get images, you might get body sensations. Whatever comes, don't judge it, just acknowledge it, and then say, out loud if possible, I'm deleting this program, it's not mine, it's not me, and I'm releasing it now. Then sit in the silence, in the space where that program used to be. Don't rush to fill it, just be in the void, because that void is potential. That's the blank screen before the new code writes itself. Why this new moon is different from every other reset you've tried. You know, I've seen women try to change themselves 1,000 times. New Year resolutions, new moon intentions, therapy, healing modalities, and most of it doesn't stick. You know why? Because they're trying to change from within the old operating system. It's like trying to update your phone while it's running. You can't. You have to shut it down completely, power it off, let it go dark, and then when it reboots, the new version installs. That's what makes this Aquarius new moon different. It's not asking you to improve yourself, it's offering you the chance to delete yourself, to let the old version completely power down. And in that darkness, in that moment when you're not running any programs at all, the womb remembers its original code, the blueprint you had before all the corruption, before all the conditioning, before anyone told you who you were supposed to be. And here's what's really powerful about this particular new moon. Venus is still in Pisces, dissolving your boundaries. Neptune is in Aries, giving you the courage to stand alone. And the new moon in Aquarius is providing the technology, the mechanism, the actual delete button. It's like the universe created the perfect conditions for a complete system reboot. Not just a patch, not just an update, a full reformatting. Some of you are going to use this consciously and emerge as completely different women, new desires, new boundaries, new relationship to your body and your womb and your power. Others are going to panic in the void and let the old programs reinstall because at least they're familiar. The difference between those two outcomes is your willingness to sit in the unknown, to be undefined, to let yourself be nothing for long enough that something new can emerge. We're all being reformatted, whether we're conscious of it or not. Here's what I find both terrifying and beautiful about this. Every woman with a womb is going through this deletion process tomorrow, whether she knows it or not. The collective feminine operating system is being reformatted. The old programs, the ones that kept women small and compliant and self-sacrificing, they're being forcibly uninstalled. And you can already see it happening, right? Women leaving marriages that no longer serve them, women quitting jobs that were draining their life force, women cutting off family members who only related to the old version. The great feminine deletion is already underway. Tomorrow's new moon just accelerates it, makes it conscious, gives those of us who are paying attention the chance to actively participate in our own rebirth instead of having it happen to us. And I think that's the real gift, the opportunity to choose what gets deleted and what gets kept, to consciously design your new operating system instead of inheriting the default settings, to look at every belief, every pattern, every program running in your womb and ask, is this mine? Is this serving me? Or is this just code I downloaded from a world that never wanted me to be free? Tomorrow at 7:27 p.m., you get to press delete. The question is, are you brave enough to sit in the void that comes after? Are you strong enough to be nothing for a while so you can become everything you were always meant to be? All right, if you're still here, thank you for being in this rebirth with me. If this resonated and you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. It genuinely helps. And drop a comment below. What program are you deleting tomorrow? What version of yourself are you ready to uninstall? I really want to know because we're all in this cosmic reset together. Take care of yourself during this void time. Trust the deletion, and I'll see you on the other side, whoever you become.